Screw it. If nobody else is gonna say it, I will. Elden Ring Night Reign is an amazing game, and I'm tired of pretending it's not. Of course it has its flaws, no voice chat, replayability, yada yada. Listen, do you really want to speak to randoms on the mic anyway? The shit I'm talking about randoms, we will get nothing done.
Guys, couldn't pop your alt, Smithers. For fuck's sake. Oh, yeah. Starting this. Oh, just so ass. Did nothing.
But that's just me. At the end of the day, there's lots of complaints about this game, but none of that is a deal breaker. If you enjoy the core game loop of Souls games, you're gonna like this. There's been lots of controversy and misinformation about the game, encouraging people not to get this game. You have people who barely played the game, rage baiting audiences talking about there's no way for mages to heal mana. Then you have diehard FromSoft fans that are mad that this isn't Bloodborne 2 or Dark Souls 4. And then you have people who got confused by the whole mess like me. I made a first impressions about this game, and while I genuinely feel the same way, I still feel like I didn't give this game its flowers. This is a playground for your average FromSoft Soulsborne fan, and a celebration to the series and how far it's came, and an excuse for the devs to implement and experiment with all the crazy, wacky playstyles they've developed throughout the years. And the irony of people calling this a cash grab. Guys, if this was a cash grab, where's the paid skins? Where's the gacha? Where's the live service? Why is it $40? If this is a cash grab, I'm telling you, they're doing it wrong. Yes, they're extremely blatant and in your face with the asset flips, but I don't know if you guys realize this, but almost all Dark Souls games reuse assets. People complain about this game taking away from FromSoft's larger projects, but I don't think you understand. The reason they use assets is to save time, so they don't take away from those projects. Besides, would you rather they spend a ton of man service on some irrelevant boss in this game, or would you rather just fight Nameless King again? After playing Dark Souls 3 and dying to Nameless King over how many times I can count, I still remember his whole moveset, the whiplash of nostalgia of fighting this guy. Tell me you don't want to experience that for $40, bro. The bosses in this game are some of the coolest, most interesting, most tryhard bosses I've ever seen from a FromSoft game. Seriously, some of these bosses are hard, I'm not gonna lie. But let's talk about the actual game. Night Reign is a spin-off of Elden Ring, where the lands in between are attacked by a living calamity known as the Night Reign. And we're the only warriors who are standing up to fight it pretty much from all across the lands. You've got wacky characters who are just as unique and interesting as the bosses that I mentioned in the thumbnail. And you're not gonna beat everyone in your first try. There's only 8 of them in the game, so I would hope not. But anyway, the game plays similar to Elden Ring, yet it's placed in a different genre. It's like a fusion between the Elden Ring game loop and a roguelike video game. And if you've never played them before, they're basically the type of game where you're essentially trying to beat the whole game in one run. And when you die, you restart. You find various buffs and equipment that's randomized map. There's lots of randomization that comes with the gameplay, and the fun comes from constantly trying to build OP builds and having variation through runs that never feel the same. And there's also permanent upgrades you get usually after winning or losing each run. Now, this is pretty much a FromSoft take on that, mixed in with other elements of other games, like kind of how you hunt a monster in Monster Hunter, or how the zone closes like a battle royale. But overall, it meshes these genres to create its own thing, and yeah, somehow it works. So how the game works is you and 2 other players descend onto a map or by yourself. You scrounge the map for different loot, kill monsters to level up. Your loot has different effects on the side, so let's say you get a sword and on the side it says extra magic power. You build a build by picking up 6 different weapons, and all those individual buffs add up to your character. You go through 3 nights trying to survive, and each night you face a boss towards the end. The whole thing takes about 50 minutes to 40 minutes, and yeah, even if I get smoked at the very end, I usually want to go in one more round. It's kind of crazy. Win or lose, you get these things called relics. Basically, they're permanent stat buffs that you can equip to your character, and it's hit or miss. Some of them feel pointless if downright just there to take up space, while others are almost game breaking. The true replayability is not from its roguelike features, it's from getting good, from finding new characters to enjoy and mastering them, as well as the bosses. It's what a Souls fan lives for, and that game loop is here too. Never have I ever played a game that can waste this much of my time, and yet I'm still ready to go for another round. After 40 minutes, I'm getting cooked. Nails that addicting feeling of one more run. And yeah, my main complaint is that I wish there was more content. Maybe the DLC will figure that out. These aren't the type of bosses that you can just summon a random to carry you with. Everybody has to pull their weight, and I'm genuinely surprised. It's just strange seeing FromSoft design a boss that didn't get easily exploited whenever I summoned Ally. Dude, that ice dragon, the whole time I'm playing the game I had a face like this.
Where are you going?
And that OST is just, I'm probably using it in the video right now. Probably one of my favorite OSTs. Best dragon fight in Souls history. You heard it here first. I'm pretty sure I'm the first person to say that. Nobody said this before. Mark my words. The best dragon in FromSoft history. I called it on Christopher Columbus Days, which you heard it here first. And then you have the second highlight of the game, which is the characters. Characters that all play quite similarly, like it's Dark Souls. They all still feel really different with the way their scaling works and the tools they have, like their character skills or their character ultimate. Each character designed well and feels like they fit the place of the game. Everybody feels balanced and strong in their own way. It's hard to genuinely tell who's the strongest. Well, it's probably Raider. To be honest, it's gotta be Raider. So Wilder, who plays like at your average soul experience with the twist, the mage, who plays like a mage on crack, unlimited mana, and crazy access to unique spells. You've got the Duchess, who plays like Bloodborne on crack. You got the Raider, who's a poised god. You got the Archer, he's an archer. And Revenant, the mascot. There's Executor, who has you playing the game like Sekiro with a very friendly parry window. Everybody in this group has their gameplay designed around a key feature from the Souls game. Like the characters are just very well designed as well as interesting. They all have their own backstories and motivations for doing what they're doing, and the writing and the obscure storytelling is just like any Souls game you ever played, except in this game I feel like it's even more blatant than it usually is. That I didn't pay attention to too much. I was too busy grinding. I had Fortnite brain rot, so I can't tell you everything about the story. I wasn't fully paying attention, but it felt like any other Soulsborne or Elden Ring lore. The only issue was that, again, there wasn't that much of it. This game is very compact and small in its presentation and what it has to offer, but what it does have to offer is worth your time. All of them have well-written backstories and reasons for doing what they're doing. It's all written in this journal. As you play these characters, you unlock more entry points in their journal to the point where you play a remembrance. A remembrance is reliving some of their memories that they've lost, and it usually involves you doing some sort of simple task in a run. And yeah, the game's not heavily story focused, but there is a story. It's obscure like a lot of Souls games, and it kind of fits right into this battle royale, because if you're like me, you were just trying to fight anyway. Going over some of the problems, work with randoms at your own risk. If you've seen some of the gameplay, I probably haven't shown some of the best randoms. It's not always like this, but a lot of times you're gonna run into some, randoms. Randoms do what randoms do. At the same time, even if you have a good run going, I feel like there should be some sort of in-game friend list or some way to add the people that you just ran with. You can of course save their usernames and add them through the PSN, but it'd be sweeter if there was some sort of, friend list. FromSoft really be forgetting the most basic things when it comes to multiplayer. But yeah, even if it was connected to the lore, some sort of you know how these Japanese games are, but some sort of in-game communication friends list would be great for me. And not even communication, just a friends list so I can add good teammates. Because with a group, you need to build synergy over time, and it's hard to build the synergy with just one session with a group of randoms, especially if it's just one thing that screwed you guys up and it's a good team otherwise. So yeah, in-game friends list is one of my biggest critiques. Mainly, the game just feels a bit repetitive and bare bones, and feels like it hasn't tapped into its full potential yet in terms of content. A lot of the relics are kind of boring, I'm not gonna lie. Another ironic thing about this game is that it feels like the early stages of a live service game, like the alpha stages, almost early access, like when a live service starts and there's not much content. But however, I don't want to be paying for no microtransactions. Either way, I think it was a successful experiment for FromSoft. Even if you don't like this game or genre or what it's about, I think people should be supportive of FromSoft stepping outside of their comfort and learning things, because that's how you grow. So those are my thoughts on Elden Ring Night Reign. That's a good game. 8 out of 10. Could use some work, but underrated at the same time. How do you guys feel about this game? Is it overhated, underrated, or what? Let me know. Peace. It is what it is.